Welcome. You are tuned to Cafe Cabaret. There you go, just like clockwork. Um, Today on Cafe Cabaret, we have a special presentation, an anthology of the Wrong Hero's best work at AS220, actually his only work at AS220, entitled Hate, live at AS220, featuring the Wrong Hero. Now, Hate might seem to be something of a not such a positive title, but here are some of the other titles that we had that we might have used otherwise, and you'd be the judge as to whether they're any good or not. Evergreens, The Twisted Ladder, Designer Destiny, Yahooey, Super Unleaded, Gentlemen, Start Your Enigmas. Here it is.
Please tell me that that was soil or something. Next up is the Wrong Hero.
Please, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. There's plenty of other reasons to hate me. I'm the Wrong Hero, and I really don't really care that much about OJ, but I was thinking, he must be innocent because those gloves wouldn't fit, and well, I was thinking, gee, who else do you associate with glove wearing? Whose gloves could they be? Michael Jackson and Mickey Mouse. They did it! You can see the scenario. Like, you hold him down, Mickey, and I'll cut him. Oh, I don't think the world's gonna like this very much, Michael. Well, Mickey's got his thing now. Yes, I used to work for Disneyland, but I got fired because of the slogan that I came up with for the Disney people. It was, suck my dick, you fucking rat. That's about as offensive as I'm going to get tonight. Thank you. They were going to do The Tempest in 7 minutes tonight. 2 months ago, they did Hamlet in 7 minutes. It's indicative of the state of American culture that if they did Hamlet today, it would probably be 30 seconds long.
We're foiling Hamlet's evil uncle and replacing his usual afternoon entertainment with a fiendishly clever play devised by his semi-insane nephew. Like, oh, how about you? I drank poison!
The end. American culture, other cultures have, all this great stuff, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana monkey chant. What do we have? Snuggles the fabric softener bear. Excuse me if I go off on this for a second, but most parents, when they see the little teddy bear snuggling up to some infant, they go, "Oh, isn't that cute?" Now when I see that, I go, "Get that thing away from the baby! It has fangs!" And wait till its mother shows up, Diabolo.
It's the size of a washer dryer.
So you gotta be careful. American culture. Who's that fellow that just got arrested for protesting Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Was that Kevin Costner or Charlie Sheen? Well, good work, Charlie. Too bad you're 50 years late. But that's the thing. There's always somebody protesting something. Like in the 1950s, it was like impending nuclear Armageddon, and I bet you a lot of people were disappointed that it never happened. Oh, we were wrong. Too bad. The 1960s, it was Vietnam. 1970s, well, Earth Day and all that type of stuff, environmental issues. But in the 1980s, people stopped protesting, and sort of like junkies, what they did instead was they started eating. And now in the 90s, the biggest fear is mayonnaise. But you can't march against mayonnaise. I mean, how would it go? No more eggs! No more eggs! Or and work your way up to mayonnaise. But somehow I don't think that's going to work. But don't get me wrong, I love the United States. You know, I've been all over this great country of ours, and let me tell you something. It felt so good when the federales took the handcuffs off. What I'd like to discuss is the history of ethnic prejudice in the United States. Oops. Gotta move for the doctor. Foreigners must have made this. It all starts with 1491, the last good year for the American Indian. We should celebrate it. October 11th, 1492, actually, would be the last good day for the American Indian, because in the 1500s, the Spanish conquistadors came, and now, many have characterized the Spanish conquistadors as siesta-taking, sombrero-wearing, red wine drinking hotheads with horrific tempers from hideous hangovers. But you know, when you think about all the rapine and pillage that the Spanish conquistadors perpetrated on the hapless aboriginals who occupied this country, you gotta give them some allowance because they were alcoholics and they weren't responsible for their actions. And if the Pope had come up with a 12-step program, maybe they wouldn't have, just maybe. Well, that wasn't the end of the problems that the American Indians were to have, because in the 1600s came the British. Now, you know, you can say what you will about the British, but, well, yeah, as Winston Churchill said, I have nothing to offer but blood, sweat, and tears, and I won't be opening up a restaurant anytime soon. Because, you know, say what you will about the British. The British, they have that indomitable British spirit. The British will always fight until the last American is dead. Because the sun never sets on the British Empire. There will always be an England as long as there's a Fort Knox. Now, when the British first came to this country, the Indians referred to them as, delayed reaction, I'm sorry. I'm going a little fast. I'm nervous. Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking. You know, when the British first came to this country, the Indians referred to them as snobbish, inbred, bulldog-loving, Henry VIII worshipping drunks with horsey teeth, who like to do nothing better than eat crumpets, drink tea, play cricket, carry umbrellas, wear pith helmets, and thank you. Take up the white man's burden. Oh my. I'm sorry, is that an exclamation of dismay?
Oh my.
What?
I said, oh my.
Okay, very good. I like that. See me after the show. You can help write my material. Well, in the 1620s, the Dutch came to this country, and you know the Dutch had a reputation for being shrewd barterers. Yeah, as you all know, no, it was $24. They bartered $24 worth of trinkets to the Indians in exchange for Manhattan Island. Now, I got to thinking about this, and what I want to know is, what was in those trinkets? You know, here, my red brother, suck the beads. Good. Trade papoose, trade squaw, trade island, more beads. Well, you know, many people refer to the Dutch as tulip-sniffing, butter-eating, Heineken-gulping, clog-wearing fatzos whose eyes were perpetually crossed from staring at windmills, and whose fingers were shriveled from sticking them in dikes, and who liked to do nothing better than to ice skate and get goofy from smoking hash and low dives all the livelong day. Well, in the 1700s, the French came to this country, and they were different from the British and the Spanish and the Dutch. You know, here's how the Dutch would say, here, take the beads, and the Spanish conquistadors would say, here, let's see your neck. But the Dutch, the French, they'd say, hey, I'll trade you this pin for a beaver pelt. You know, so they were fair. They offered, even so, even though the Indians preferred the French, Behind their backs, they refer to them as wine-slurping, breeze-stinking, snail-eating, tongue-kissing, syphilis-infested, pornography-reading, adulterous writers of incomprehensible philosophy. And now we're getting to the good part, because in the 1740s, the Scotch came to this country. Now, I might have trouble distinguishing the Scotch from the Irish. Here's a 15-second guide to the difference between the Scots and the Irish. I'm Scottish, I'm Irish, I'm Scottish, I'm Irish. And you know, the Scotch, they were troublemakers. They were responsible for the Whiskey Rebellion in 1794. And I just want to say one thing. If I'm ever involved in a rebellion, I want it to be a whiskey rebellion. You know, because the political slogan, political platform, come home America. So that's what I want to be involved with. And, well, the Scotch were called dress-wearing, penny-pinching, oatmeal gulping, haggis slurping, bagpipe-tooting skinflints. All right, I'm glad you're having a blast. Because me, I'm having the time of my life up here, that's what I tell you. Well, in the 1840s, the Irish came to this country because of the potato famine. And, oh yeah, that's still, you're still hung up on the Scottish bag, my kilt-wearing daddy. Well, the Irish came to this country because of the potato famine, and that's a pretty good excuse for calling in sick to work. Sure, we got the potato famine, yes sir. Well, you know, think about the Irish. A lot of people refer to them as, any Irish people here by any chance? Everyone, huh? Except for the Italians. That's an insult. Anyway, the Irish, you know, a lot of people, when people first saw the Irish come to this country, they say to themselves, oh, who is this bog-trotting, clay-pipe-smoking, brick-throwing, bomb-hurling, shillelagh-wielding, shamrock-worshipping, blarney-kissing, brogue-talking, fiddle-playing, man-loose-strumming, penny-whistle-tune, rock-gulping, ale-slurping, ether-sniffing, leprechaun, hallucinating, incomprehensible, poetry-writing, evil-tempered dipsomaniac? I mentioned potatoes. I didn't want to be redundant, but what I didn't mention was, of course, the grotesque sentimentality of the dipsomaniacal Irish, as referred to, of course, not by myself, but by people who had gone here before the Irish. Well, in the 1840s, the Germans also came here. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, what if the Germans ever contributed to American culture? Oh, bratwurst, kindergartens, German measles, rathskellers, sauerbraten, and if you give me a week, I might think of something else. But beer. Oh, I forgot. I drank a little too much beer. Maybe, you know. Well, anyway, people refer to the Germans as beer-bloated, sausage-eating, sauerkraut-slurping, chocolate manufacturing, right-wing nitwits. So, yet again, another ethnic minority migrates to this country, hoping that it's the land of promise advertised so seductively in the native language brochures that were passed out. But once again, they're disappointed. Now, in the 1870s, the Scandinavians began immigrating to this country. Now, a lot of people stigmatize the Scandinavians as miserable, big-boned ex-Vikings with crooked teeth who sat in squalid hovels, eating raw, salted salmon and reading Hamlet by the light of well-fat lamps in the original Danish, and feeling sorry for themselves. But, you know, at least by the standards of most Americans, all these cats were white dudes. Because before too long, of course, came an influx of immigration from Southern and Eastern Europe, notably the Italians. Can you imagine being an Italian the street wearing your derby hat with your long, greasy handlebar mustache, and having people look at you and say, "Who is this crooked cigar smoking, olive oil slurping, dagger wielding, mafia fearing, pope worshipping, spaghetti eating, greasy, garlicky, sex crazed, emotional fascist, whose one ambition in life is to bark incomprehensible orders at his betters?" Well, you know, the Italians, you gotta defend the Italians. They're great family men. And everybody knows that they hate their fathers, they adore their mothers, they drive their sons pazzo, completely pazzo, and they turn their daughters into ratchet-jawed, gum-popping sluts with big hair. Well, here's how Italian people blow their nose, and I know because I'm Italian. All right? Just so you know. You're welcome. It's not for me to say. Yeah. Hey, improv, man. Well, next came the Greeks. The bouzouki playing, ouzo drinking, baklava eating, olive munching, stuffed grape leaves slurping, pistachio crunching, sailor cap wearing, black-haired, bushy eyebrow, tin horn chiselers. And then the Eastern Europeans, for example, the Poles, they came in the 1890s. Here's a joke they like to tell in Poland. How about a polka? Polka now with a short stick polka.
Incomprehensible polka.
That's right, the incomprehensible poetry polka. Well, here's a joke they like to tell in Poland. When a German soldier's coming from one direction and a Russian soldier's coming from another direction, which one does a Polish soldier shoot first? The German. Business before pleasure. Well, a lot of people refer to the Polish as duck's blood drinking, vodka swilling, clumsy, thick-headed, stubborn, oafish lumps. As you can see, I have something for everyone. Perhaps we should pass over the Hungarians. Because when you think of Hungarians, what do you think?
Goulash eating.
Yeah. Goulash eating, paprika reeking, suicidal whiners, whose sole contribution to American culture is the phrase honky and Rubik's Cube. Well, in the 1900s, the Turks were America's most despised ethnic minority. And even today, when people think Turks, they think curd-killing, heroin-smoking, fez-wearing, pastry-gobbling, pathologically cruel Turks. Now, you notice there's one ethnic group that I didn't mention, and that was black people. The whole house of cards is collapsing now. Well, the reason I didn't mention black people was that it didn't seem fair to refer to them as immigrants when in fact they were brought to this country by force. You know, I often think of how things might have been different if in 1865 all those promises of 40 acres and a mule had been carried out. If that had happened, perhaps we'd be seeing a scenario something like this today. Yo, brother, can I borrow your television station? No, my brother, you must buy your own. Because in the 1960s, people became socially conscious. They started thinking about what we did to all these minorities. Like, for example, the first minority, the American Indian. And people started thinking, you know, we've broken every treaty we've ever made with these proud people. And what's the result? Indians are poor. They sleep on old army blankets. Indians got disease from old army blankets. Their filthy teepees smell like gopher shit and old army blankets. Hey, wait a minute. They weren't born here. They came across the Bering Strait thousands of years ago. Give back those army blankets, you thieving redskins! Is what many Americans say. Well, I'm the wrong hero, and this presentation has been brought to you by the Eskimos, makers of fine blubber products for your home, including Blubber Clear, cruelty-free blubber, Blubber Light. I can't believe it's not blubber. Fat-free blubber. Free-range blubber. My Little Blubber. Country Time blubber. Pickup blubber. Blubber Come Back to Me. Mighty Morphin Power blubber. Teenage Mutant Ninja blubber. And of course, Move Over Butter, Fuck Off Margarine, and Die, Lard, Die. Well, I hope you found this amusing, and if you haven't found it amusing, I hope you found it instructive. And if you found it neither amusing nor instructive, then I'd like to thank you very much for not hurting me or my friends. I'm the wrong hero. Good night.
for the opposing team is Argus. He's got 1,000 eyes, and every single one of them is focused on striking his man out. Zeus steps up to the plate. He throws the bat away. He's going to hit with a bolt of lightning. It's a pop fly out to center field. Mercury's running to catch it. Mercury's flying to catch it. Those little wings on his feet sure do come in handy. And he catches it. It's golden. Mercury's glove where triples go to die. Now Hercules steps up to the plate. He's waving 7 bats. Oh, the coach calls a timeout. Mount Vesuvius is erupting. They're all running off to take care of it. Hercules is going to roast some weenies. As long as we're taking a break, I'd like to remind you that this game is being brought to you by Red God Beer. Red God, because you are your own God.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, it's a great place. It's, you know, they're kind of old-fashioned there, though. They think that horseradish is a mind-altering substance. And you know, growing up, my dad was a meat and potatoes man. His arms were made of French fries, and his legs were made of steak, and I'd look at him and say, "What kind of nightmare world is this you brought me into?" And my mother, you know, she was always saying to me, "I don't like you using cuss words. I don't want you to use that word shit. I really wish you'd call it something nice, like brown monuments to a healthy appetite. But just don't use that awful, awful word." You know, growing up, we were slow children. I hate to say it, but oh well, we used to play chicken with a steamroller. Thanks, pal. Got any more of those Japanese songs? You ever notice on one of those 70s shows like Mannix and Dr. Welby, every time a Japanese guy walks in the room, you know, you can do this with every nationality. Italian guy walks in the room, theme from The Godfather. Mario Cuomo runs for president. He's got this in the background. And as your president, I promise to fight crime.
What?
Fight crime, yes. Anyway, his friend Lance, he used to get excited sometimes. He'd turn his tricycle upside down, and he'd turn the pedals like this and go, "I'm the icy ball man! I'm the icy ball man!" The really pathetic thing about this was he was 32 years old at the time. I'm like, "Lance, get a life! Get a hamster wheel, you loser! Get out of this town!" It's killing you. And I used to go to the public library, and they had a record by Edgar Allan Poe reading The Telltale Heart. Actually, it wasn't Edgar Allan Poe reading it, it was some guy. And it was like Drew, nervous, very nervous. "But what you say, I have taken leave of my senses. They have sharpened, they have not dulled." But the record had a skip in it. So it sounded like this. "True, nervous, but what you say is sharpened, dull." So you know, that's a great thing for an 8-year-old. I used to walk down the street going, "True, nervous." And I used to go to the supermarket with my mother, and you know, I'd bring army soldiers and play with them in the produce section. And you know, she didn't mind this. I really get into it. You know, it's like, "Look out, there's Appalachia!" But she got really mad when I brought the Christ on the cross to the supermarket. "It's the Air Force! It's the #1 sky pilot!" So, "Take that, Pontius Pilate!" "Hey, Peter, I can see your house from here!" Ah, yes. You know what gets me? We're on a Japan theme here. Last month was the 50th anniversary of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You know, wait, some anniversary, some celebration. What do the Japanese think when they see in our media that it's like the 50th anniversary? It's like, "All right, you hamburger jockeys, we're going to celebrate the 500th anniversary of bubonic plague." See how you like that? But you know what really gets me is that everybody talks about Hiroshima. Nagasaki got the shitty end of the stick. They got all the fallout and none of the publicity. Really pisses me off. you know, that was a really memorable day in our history. Another memorable day was when JFK got assassinated. Some of us weren't born yet when that happened, but I remember I was 6 years old, and I remember thinking, when I heard the news, well, at least they can't blame me. Oh man, politics, Sonny Bono. Everybody's done stuff about Sonny Bono up the wazoo, but you know, I was thinking, did he ever foresee the day that he would become a congressman? They say love won't pay the rent. Sure, it's ugly. My money's now been spent. Wish I had some drugs. I got you, babe. This fur vest is itchy. I got you, babe. Someday I'll be a congressman. I'm just wondering about that. You know, the Democrats, they don't believe in stuff like flying saucers, but apparently they're all suffering under the delusion that we will all have Social Security when we turn 65. So just go figure. And the Republicans, you know, they're really into the Bible and stuff. But the one part they didn't seem to have read very closely was, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit. Oh, maybe they did. Maybe they're going, oh, sure, they can inherit the earth, as long as we get the drilling rights. We messed up the surface of the earth with pollution anyway. Okay. I can work with that. Well, before I go, I'd like to tell you what I believe. I believe that big business is the religion of selfishness. Of course, they pay me to say that. And you know, Frank Lloyd Wright once said that architecture is frozen music. And I'm thinking, what dope is this guy been smoking? Well, in perhaps just the same way, religion is frozen morality. Let me get earnest with you for a minute here. You know, we're not really all that advanced. We think we're so great, we're so scientific, but we're not. I mean, basically, we're just aborigines with rocket sleds. The Cro-Magnons had cave paintings. We have the internet. The ancients had masturbation. We have Nintendo. Okay? So there's nothing new under the sun. And science cannot answer all of our questions. There are questions that science cannot answer. Like, when are they going to invent a rat poison that hasn't been tested on animals? Questions science can't answer. If you take too many anti-nausea pills, how many do you have to take before you get nauseous? Questions science can't answer. And some scientists believe that on other planets, if there are life forms, they're not necessarily carbon-based. It's entirely possible they could be silicon-based. So, you know, when the aliens come to this planet, they step off the rocket ship, what's the first thing they're going to say? Take me to your nudie bars. I want to see your artificially enhanced women. On the wrong hero, and I'd like to leave you with this thought. The mass of men are sheep for credulity and wolves for conformity. Thank you. While I catch my breath, I might as well ask you all, which of you prefer the Flintstones? Raise your hands.
So what?
The Flintstones. Oh, I'm sorry, it's in the Jetsons.
Oh, yeah, Flintstones.
Or would you prefer the Jetsons? Astrodog. What about Super President, huh? Well, does anybody here know the words to the Flintstones theme? Does anybody know the words to the Jetsons theme? Well, I'd like half of you to start singing the words to the Flintstones theme, and the other half to start singing the words to the Jetsons theme on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Version of the future. I mean, but yet they're so similar in so many ways. And so learn an individual must someday write a lengthy disposition on just this topic. But before they do, I should mention that I am the wrong hero. To get this clear out of your minds right away, a lot of people say, wrong hero, why do you wear that costume? And the answer is really very simple. If the jokes are funny, I am the most talented and original comedian of my generation, and if they suck, then I'm a performance artist. Now, people also ask, Romeo, why are you a comedian? And, well, the answer to that is very simple. I flunked metal shop. See, I used to get the soldering gun and make little effigies of the shop teacher, and the solder, and crush them with a vice grip. And that might have had something to do with it. But you know, comedy business is very hard because, well, it lives by certain credos, just like any business. And the credos in comedy are things like, you stab my back and I'll stab yours. One hand bites the other. And of course, everybody else always ruins it for a few assholes. Right, exactly. Exactly. But my motto is, if you can't say something nice, you can write my material for me. And now you know why I don't drink coffee. I don't need to drink coffee because I already have a bitter taste in my mouth first thing in the morning. Here's another question for you. In a fair fight, who do you think would win? The Justice League of America or Jesus and the 12 apostles? You really think so, don't you? I know. The apostles are kind of dead weight, you know? And now it's Jesus and the 11 apostles action figure, Judas sold separately. All right, now here's another question for you. That's okay. I'm watching you. Can I have a cowbell? All right. More, both of you. We're an American band. Sorry, I came in late on that. That's quite all right, though. Oh, here's a question for you. Do you suppose that, and this is the last time I'm ever going to get to mention this, if I have any sense at all, do you think OJ did it or not?
Yeah! It was!
You know. Well, you know, it's a conspiracy, you know? You know what Johnny Cochran said? You know what he said? He said, those are a rich man's gloves. Right? So now how many other incredibly wealthy black people can you think of at the top of your head? Like Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson, Brian Gumble, and Mickey Mouse. Oprah's not a man, not yet anyway. That's right, she makes more of those puppets put together. Well, I pieced together a scenario on this OJ thing. What happened was, Michael Jackson was sitting around getting drunk with Brian Gumble, who's known to like a drink, or 3, or 11, and Bill Cosby, you know, he's obviously heavy into the booze bag, and Michael got on the phone to his pal Macaulay Culkin, who was off in his Manhattan penthouse smoking cigarettes and drinking beer, and he said, oh, Macaulay, come and join the boys. We're just sitting around and having a little chat. We're going to go visit OJ later. He's probably at his wife's house. Well, Macaulay comes out with some of his little friends, and they all go over to OJ's house, and, well, you know, the rest, the tragic consequences when the drunken Macaulay Culkin and Cosby was there, you know, because of the Cosby mysteries, and Brian Gumble was there because he wanted to, you know, have an exclusive because he's a reporter anyway. That's what I think happened, and it's only a reconstruction. The police really screwed up on that one. And, you know, there's an old saying, if it rains when the sun is shining, that means a policeman is beating his wife. Actually, it's not an old saying, I just made it up. But, nonetheless. Now here's something I gotta ask you. When you go to a party and you see a big dish full of a white powder, you know, and you snort it thinking it's cocaine and it's actually heroin, don't you hate it when that happens? I'm telling you, I really... And I figured out something else too. Illegal drugs are just prescription medicines with bad PR. And what more ironic thing in a capitalist society? What's the most desired thing? Those which are beyond the reach of ordinary people. So outlaw drugs and make them desirable. It makes a And just once, I'd like to hear him give a speech like, and I promise that I will not rest until every American has guaranteed health care. And then he rips his mask off, and it's Sugar Bear. And he's going, oh, come on, Greg, which kind of some of that super sugar cream? Just once, I like to see that. Now, Vladimir Zhirinovsky, you might have heard of this guy. He's running for the presidency of Russia. And his platform is very simple, very effective. Execute criminals on sight, free vodka for everybody, and take back Alaska. And with a platform like that, he should be in the GOP, primaries, because he just sweep to the head of the pack, throw in, take away money from poor people, and he's in there. I don't know. And you hear about this thing in Roswell, New Mexico, with they found these aliens. Some of them were on display here, in fact. They have so-called footage of aliens, and it's like, why do aliens always go to places where slack-jawed, fredulous hicks hang out, and they never go to places like Times Square where everybody would see them, or maybe they wouldn't notice them, I don't know. And I think I figured out why aliens like deserts, because they're probably not carbon-based, they're probably silicon-based, so they gravitate towards sand, which is silica. Well, with that logic, why don't they just go to nudie bars? There's plenty of silicon there, you know what I'm saying? Just a thought. And another thing that really gets my goat when I start thinking about it is Porky Pig. Who are his friends? Vealy Calf, Beefy Cow, Dim Sum Cat, Burrito Dog, Fleshy Human. I don't know. Anyway, and finally, there's this thing with the Joey Maria's Comedy Wedding. Well, maybe they should get a little more ambitious and have something like Rock Hudson and Jim Neighbors' clandestine honeymoon. I think that would work. Anyway, I'm the wrong girl, and my motto is, my blood type is B negative, also my motto. Thank you very much.
What a man, what a mighty, mighty good man.
And in honor of that holiday, I'd like to sing a little song that I composed. It's called Jesus the Snowman. Jesus the Snowman, he'll be back again someday. That's all so far. Can you take the wet off of this a little bit? Thank you. You know, thank you for that unsolicited endorsement. He's also quick, too. I'll show you just how quick he is. You know, late at night, sometimes I can sit in the bathtub for hours. Sometimes I even put water in there. But you know, as I get older, I find that I tend to stay inside a lot, watch a lot of late night television. And yeah, you know, the 70s were a very different era from the present day because they didn't have the clicker in the 70s. So you had to get up every time you wanted to change the channel. Well, with the clicker, you don't have to do that. So I'd like to give you a sample of what a typical night's late night viewing is like with the miracle of the clicker.
I'll tell you what we're fighting for. We're fighting for Mom's apple pie, the flag, and someday, son, this will all be your... Say, what are you, a wise guy or something? I swear I didn't kill him. I swear. Here's a couple of C-nuts. I like to see my boys looking sharp. Go ahead and get yourself something nice to... Shooting you would be far too easy, Mr. Bond. I prefer to watch you... Let's get a close-up on it. We'd like to thank our sponsors. Moving right along. Let's roll this clip. We have no rights. Since you're going to kill me anyway, why don't you tell me your fiendish plan for world domination? Tell them what they've won so far. Do what you want to be, you fiend, but spare the girl. I'll watch your show every day. Watch it, I have a gun. I never won anything before. I hear you're a mean hombre. Follow that car. I'd like to witness your death, Mr. Bond, but I'm afraid I have nothing to take the place of Lassie. Are you sure no one followed you? All right, man, let's synchronize our watches. We're going over there. Don't touch that dog. So sorry to hear about your bulimia. Wipe it on the dog. I'm wrong here. Men call me the avatar of the moron zeitgeist. And I'd like to share with you a few of my beliefs. I believe that big business is the religion of selfishness. I believe that advertising is the Stalinization of commodities. What do you mean, boo? What's wrong with Stalin? Oh, I see. You know, it's the only place in the world where we'd have somebody stick up for Stalin. Whoa. I'm afraid whoever gets that, what's his name, is already beaten into the punch bell. Shamir, all right? Rabin, Shamir, what's the difference? I don't know, fucking ancient Hebrew? Oh, for what? Yeah, I got a gift for you. Next on Rudy Lent, how the society of the spectacle took the place of reason and political discourse. Yeah, I talk about advertising. I'm against advertising, but
down to eat becomes new knife and fork, spoon sold separately. Well, anyway, I'd like to remind you of my sponsors. They are Silverfish Realty and, oh yeah, this one. Smell that coffee. Doesn't it wake you right up? That's because it's conditioned response coffee. Part of our fine line of operant conditioning products. Look for the salivating dog and the bell on each label. And remember, Pavlov likes it too. Ryan is also brought to you by Coke Light. What's the matter, dear? I'm sorry. What's the matter, dear? Only half a line? Cocaine makes me nervous. Doctor says if I don't stop snorting cocaine, they're gonna take my nose off and sew a button on. You mean you haven't heard of Coke Light? Coke Light? Coke Light. 1 week later, you know, we all miss that funny little whistle when you breathe. Thanks to you and to Coke Light. Coke Light, everything you always wanted of cocaine. And you can start it by the fistful. Wrong Hero is also brought to you by McWrongos, where the customer is always wrong. For example, I need 2 fries. What about addressing what I need? I'd like a double burger, please. Sorry, can't sell it to you. Them things will kill you. Give me 10 pies, 10 fries, 10 Cokes, 10 burgers. Well, that'll be about 2 hours. So sit down, relax, have a beer. I hope you don't mind Pabst, just for my private stash. Can I have change for $1? We will never see significant societal change for a mere dollar. It'll take millions and millions of dollars to rebuild our tattered infrastructure. The Wrong Hero is also brought to you by the Arbitron Network, bringing you these fine shows. The Mandarin Hour, in which credentialed academics lecture you on what you ought to do with your life. The Old Lifer program, in which bitter, frustrated old men tell you where to get off, you snot-nosed puppy, and The Talent Show, where unscrupulous resume-less executives claw their way to the top over your recumbent bodies. The Arbitron Network is also proud to bring you the Evening News, featuring Happy Talk with your surrogate family, Old Anger Man and Sweet Young Thing, and Sports Wrap-Up with Bob Cheerleader, plus The Weather God. Wrong Hero is also brought to you by Capitalism for Dummies. This egg is your brain. This is your brain on capitalism. And comrades, the yoke is on you. You know, I'm the Wrong Hero, and I don't have messianic delusions. At least, that's what God tells me. But I'd like to leave you with this reminder. You can't love God unless God loves himself. Good night.
Is bring up the right act for now. Please welcome, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, the Wrong Hero.
Scott? He ran downstairs. Well, there's one thing I gotta say about Scott and Princess Pearl. I'm an enormous fan. I'd like to do an impression. Princess Leia. How many of you are too apathetic to respond to a direct question? Raise your hands. How many of you refuse to answer a rhetorical question? Don't raise your hands. You must be the famous crowd I've heard so much about. You know, I thought you were taller than that. You're not as big as you look on television. Can you autograph a blank check for me? I'd like to advise you that this program is brought to you by Jesus Christ. It's a real Hebrew. The Wrong Hero is also brought to you by I still can't believe it's not butter, but then again, my family always said I was a little bit slow. Well, thank you. When the band laughs, you know you're really hitting all six. Well, now Christmas is over. And it's a shame in a way because there's one song in particular that I really, really liked. And it was, Jesus the Snowman is a fairy tale, they say, but he'll be back again someday. Oh, the Christmas season, yes. Time for receiving gifts and, more importantly, giving gifts, but let's not forget it is also the time when a little child was born in a manger in Bethlehem. The Prince of Peace. Also, Christmas is a time to complain about your Christmas presents, just like he probably did 1,995 years ago.
You idiot! I said gold, silver, and platinum! What's this fucking murder frankincense jazz, huh?
And get that stupid drummer boy out of here, he's cramping my style.
Couldn't you find a hotel? This place stinks like heifer farts! Dad, you're a carpenter. Next time, sand the manger. I got a fucking splinter in my ass. Mom, close that door. What were you, raised in a barn?
I can't complain about my Christmas presents. My girlfriend's brother gave me a pickup truck. It has monster tires. So now I can make extra money in demolition derbies. And now this is true. And there was only one catch though. The guy he wants me to kill, he's kind of hard to get at. So it's kind of problematic. Well, you know, another thing happened, a really happy thing. I proposed to my girlfriend, but she said I wasn't very romantic about it. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to propose to her in the voice of Astro from the Flintstones.
I wrote you, Mary Reed.
And, I'm sorry, the Jetsons. Yeah, and you know, and I might have gone away with it, except that I referred to her as George. So that was a bad mistake. I feel sorry for my dog around Christmas time because you know we get all the presents, but he doesn't get any presents. So I figured I'd make his heart a little gladder by throwing a bouillon cube in the toilet bowl. That always works. I read something in Time magazine. Said 33% of people talk to their pets on their phone or on their answering machines. Now, I'm wondering, what's next? hello, this is Rex. I'm off killing chickens right now, so I can't go to the phone. People say that a dog is a man's best friend, and I'm like going, yeah, sure. All my best friends piss in the corner. All my best friends vomit kibbles and bits onto the linoleum. All my best friends beg for treats with their genitalia exposed. Yeah, dog's my best friend. I always, yeah, who was it that pissed in the corner? I got pulled over by a policeman right outside of Attleboro. Anybody here from Attleboro or North Attleboro or anywhere like that? Attleboro, it always looks to me like the kind of place that was a company town for people who design triggers for nuclear devices or something. You know, it's kind of a dreary. But I got pulled over by this cop and he said, do you know why I pulled you over? And I said, well, either it was because the donut shop was closed or you're too cowardly to be out chasing dangerous felons, and so you decided to harass honest taxpayers like myself. Oh, by the way, you know the police play this new game when they get together after work. They play this new game. It's called Get Out of Monopoly, and all the cards say go directly to jail. You know, we had a wine tasting here, and coincidentally, it was also Elvis's birthday. Any of you aware of this? That there is actually a brand of wine sold on the open market called Elvis Wine. Now, Elvis never drank wine, so yeah, Elvis Wine, or maybe it's Love Me Tender Wine or something. I don't know. But I was going to bring this up, but it says on the bottle, the wine Elvis would have drunk if Elvis drank wine. Well, that's quite a concept, you know. It's sort of like Albania, the country Hitler would have conquered if Hitler had been able to conquer. I can tell a heartwarming anecdote about my childhood. Well, it seems as though when we were growing up, we weren't very well to do. As a matter of fact, we only had chicken once a week, and that was usually the day that the preacher man came to visit. Other days we'd have steak and caviar, but that one day we would have chicken when the preacher man came to visit. And, well, one day the preacher man was going to come to visit, and my mother pulled me inside and said, in her most loving voice, son, if you embarrass me in front of the preacher, I'm going to beat the tobacco juice out of you. Well, sure enough, the preacher comes. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, what was a northern? I'm going to beat the crack pipe out of your mouth. What? What are you trying to say? Anyway, the preacher comes to visit, and sure enough, he's sitting there spearing all the best pieces of chicken, and I just can't take it anymore. So I piped up, Mama, the preacher's going to get all the best pieces of chicken. Next thing I know, I wake up in the hospital, in traction, late at night, and there's a little boy in the bed next to me, moaning about his little red wagon, and the nurse comes up to me and she says, and what do you want to be when you grow up, little boy? And I said, a jet pilot. And she said, that's impossible. You wear corrective lenses, and they won't let you do that, but you could be an air traffic controller. Yeah, isn't that heavy, man? Well, before I go, Melody, just a little bit more heaviness on you, and then I'm going to leave while I'm still ahead. And, you know, there's an old saying that says, if your eyes are bigger than your stomach, then you're probably the world's biggest cyclops, and get out of here. And there's another old saying that says, lepers are envious of those with simple sores, which sounds like a great premise for a daytime talk show. And now, people with simple sores and the lepers who envy them on Ricky Lake. And there's another old saying which says, don't count the days of a month which may never belong to you. But don't be surprised when you find it difficult to make dental appointments. Yet another old saying states that if you want to be Pope, you can think of nothing else, especially if you're not a Catholic. And of course, there's an old saying that you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Now, why? Why would you do this anyway? So you get a purse that smells like bacon? So you can have stray dogs trailing in your wake so you can piss off Muslims? What are you, the poster boy for white meat? Mr. Silk Purse made out of a sow's ear? The ancient wisdom of the East tells us that happiness and sorrow revolve like a disc. It sort of reminds me of a Beach Boys album I once owned. And of course, there's a saying that he shall reap hemp who sows hemp, and beans who sows beans. But wait a minute, let's get back to that guy who's sowing hemp and how to get back to him around harvest time. Of course, you know, there's the saying that still waters run deep, which is a pretty good description of a toilet, if you ask me. One of my favorite sayings is, I'm sorry, I guess I never should have come up here. Lord, give me patience. Well, you've been a wonderful crowd. You get a good audience, and I just like, this is a special message for you folks over there. If you call a dog, do not carry a stick, unless it is the world's largest Slim Jim. I'm the wrong hero. Thank you, and good night.
Speaking of messing with your head, and of messed up heads, please welcome the wrong hero.
If I had a hammer. Wait a minute. I have a hammer. Now what? This episode of The Wrong Hero is brought to you by the Rootists. The only headache remedy that sounds like something that Scooby-Doo says to Shaggy. Whoop, Scooby, a ghost of Rootists. Well, I'm in a good mood. Since I'm a wrong hero, it means all peasants report to the town square. And you don't want to see me when I'm in a bad mood, but I'm in a good mood because I'm moving out of my apartment, my filthy, spoiled, fetid apartment that I lived in for 16 years because I had rent control. I'm in Cambridge. I'm finally moving out of there. Yahoo! I'll tell you, and if you saw the place, you would know why I'm so deliriously happy. It's like the place looked like the home of Legionnaire's disease, you know? The whole place smelled like cat piss, and the hell of it was, I didn't even own a cat! And the refrigerator had a big sign on it, you know, Biohazard 3, authorized personnel only, restricted area. You open it up, you know, it's like, there's like a crypt of terror. You see a wilted head of lettuce, half of a petrified lemon that had a dragonfly encased in amber inside of it, and 2 cans of generic beer dating from the Carter administration, and a monkey's paw clutching a jewel. It was like the 12 days of Christmas for winos. One wilted head of lettuce, half a petrified lemon, one monkey's paw. And the kitchen was littered with 5-cent deposit cans of beer. And I'm like, hey Mark, when are you gonna clean this up? And my roommate says, that's my retirement fund. And the place smelled. It smelled bad. Really, really bad. It was a veritable cornucopia of exotic aromas, yes. It smelled like the sweatband of a recently indicted televangelist's fedora. It smelled like George Burns' suspenders from vaudeville. It smelled like the sauna room of the Pittsburgh Steelers after the Super Bowl. What do you do now? Well, we're going to John Eagle, push shot. It smelled like Alvin Chipmunk's laundry bag. It smelled like Frankenstein's dentures. It smelled like Mastodon plaque. It smelled like Godzilla had given the place a tongue bath. The wall was so pitted with holes, it looked like Keith Richards' left arm. And the subway ran under it for 19 hours a day. And so it sounded like 10-penny nails getting tossed into a Cuisinart. It sounded like skeletons mating. When you had sex, you didn't even have to move. It was like magic fingers, 19 hours a day. And on Sunday morning, if you put your ear to the window, you could hear the homeless man on the street saying things like, it's a good rubbing alcohol. It's not a great rubbing alcohol. The place had historic value. They had a plaque on the front of it that said, George Washington never...
You'll never know.
And the alligator said, the plaque said, George Washington never even went anywhere near this place. I'm going to go into business. I'm going to open up a line of heartless shelters. It's where heartless people go to hide from the homeless. Of course, they already have those down. They're called suburbs. I'm the wrong hero. I'm done. Goodbye.
be too political. But please welcome the next President of the United States of America, the rock hero.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your wallets. On this great and historic occasion, as opposed to some other incredibly great and historic occasion, I'd like to announce my candidacy for the presidency of the United States. Now, if I may interject a little personal commentary about myself, my motto in this race for the presidency is like that of the little engine who could. Namely, I think I can. I think I can. Fail. I can afford to bide my time in this long uphill struggle for the presidency because my motto is, Lord, give me patience. Now! And I can bide my time and deal with the inevitable lies and slanders that my opponents will spread about me in my race for presidency of the United States. Some say I drive a foreign car, that I fathered an illegitimate child, that I released a convicted murderer on furlough, that I had electroshock therapy, that I get free cable television, that I steal newspapers intended for recycling and sell them, that I blow my paycheck in the dog track, that I use drugs, that I was arrested for drunk driving on a suspended license, that I traffic in pornographic videos, that I raise taxes, cut police, resisted arrest, took junkets at taxpayer expense, that I believe in a double standard, visit prostitutes regularly, run red lights, eat veal, steal pennies from a blind man's cup. To all these charges I say, where's your proof that will stand up in court, you filthy monkeys? Anyhow, on the one hand, I'm asking for your votes. On the other, I shouldn't have to ask. You should have already gotten the message by now. I deserve your votes. Otherwise, fuck you and the vote you rolled in on! I'm terribly sorry. I must have got Bob Dole's speech mixed in with mine. I should mention, for the benefit of all you gun owners out there, that I like to drive a beat-up old American pickup truck with a homemade license plate that says militia. Anyhow, I shouldn't have to ask for your vote. I deserve your vote. Otherwise, get out, vote, and go the fuck back where you came from, Jose! Once again, I apologize. I must have gotten Pat Buchanan's speech mixed in with mine here. Terribly sorry. Anyhow, I promise, if elected, that I will not make intelligent decisions. I'll just give you what you want. And you can take that to the bank. Now remember, if the election it would be November. Now, if you do vote for me, I promise immediate action. On the day I am elected, if elected, I will send every one of you a bright, shiny, brand new penny. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. Now, every politician has to have a motto. My motto can be summed up in 8 words. I'm innocent, and the district attorney knows it. The rules of the game of politics have changed. I'm running because, like most Americans, I need a job. Any job. And just because I wasn't born into inherited wealth is no reason why I shouldn't start at the top. But I don't know why I'm asking you for your vote. You should give me your vote freely, because I deserve it. And if you'd like, we can go on board my yacht and discuss it over a glass of Chardonnay. Oops, sorry. Once again, I got Steve Forbes' speech mixed in with mine. I'd like to make a few promises. I promise you that I am not addicted to alcohol or narcotics. I have not touched a drop of alcohol in 5 years. I have touched several bottles of alcohol and drained them of their contents, but I haven't touched a drop. As for the narcotics, I can quit anytime I want to. But I am addicted to an ideal. My ideal is this. When I say frog, you jump! In my campaign, I promise you that I will never commit the sin of asking for your money only once. And I promise that I will not keep sloppy financial records. I won't keep any records at all. I promise to account for every penny you give me. I promise that every red cent of your hard-earned money will go straight into my pockets, where it will be safe and, incidentally, warm. Matter of fact, I won't make any promises at all that I can't keep. I won't make any promises at all, in fact, except for the ones that will make you vote for me. Oh, and furthermore, I pledge that if I win $100 million in a lottery, I will give you $50. Now, all across this land, as the millennium draws to a close, naysayers, prophets of doom, and gloomy cousins talk about the end. I prefer to focus on the beginning of the end. I do not intend to dwell upon the mistakes I've made in the past. No, my friends, I intend instead to dwell upon the mistakes I intend to make in the future. Here is my plea. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for me. The wrong hero. As for the charge that I evade the issues, I say, don't worry about me. I'm all right on all the issues. Now, it has been said that we live in a troubled time for civilized discourse. Therefore, I suggest that you shut the fuck up and let me talk. Fuck the rules. I'm making this up as I go along. You're so boring, I could snore. You're so stupid, I could scream. But please, don't take it personally. I will candidly and openly prevaricate. As I say to you that in running this race, I am after the swing vote. Tomorrow I'll be speaking at the Monkey House at the Roger Williams Zoo. You see, I am the only honest man in politics, and I must admit I stole that slogan from somebody else. I will say to you now that if elected, my foreign policy will be to enthrone tyrants and doom freedom. In other words, it will be business as usual at the State Department. And here's where I stand on the other major issues. I favor gun control except for assault weapons and armor-piercing bullets, which are protected by the Second Amendment to the Constitution. As for school prayer, I believe there should be a moment of silence in public schools and a moment of noise in Bible schools. I support all affirmative action quotas, but only when they favor me. And I oppose the death penalty except for people I just don't like. Now, you listen to me and you listen good. I ain't gonna let no perfumey smelling, lifted pinky finger, Madison Avenue slicker run my campaign. Besides, they cost too much. I will admit I'm operating under a lot of handicaps in this race. I'm old, I'm repulsive, I'll steal anything that isn't nailed down, and I'm too cynical to tell the truth. In other words, I have at least one thing in common with all the other candidates in this race. And that, in a nutshell, is why you should elect me, the wrong hero. In this great country we call America, as opposed to some other name like former British colonies or Disney World or Frank Sinatra Land, in these great United States of ours, there are limits to what we ought to be willing to tolerate. My job in running this race is to test these limits to their breaking point. Now, some people say that I exude an air of silky menace. I find that very amusing, and I will hunt them down and destroy them at my leisure once you elect me. For I am an honorable man. In my campaign, I will not pander to the religious right just to get access to their mailing lists, large cash contributions, and voters who are fanatically loyal to their cause. But I think I should mention that Jesus Christ is my campaign manager. I was going to pick Einstein, but I was afraid he knew too much. In the course of my speech, I hope I've impressed you with my brilliantly boring comments. Well, people say I'm tactless. I like to think of myself as fearless. Fearless because I speak out and say things out loud that other people only whisper. Things like, "Hey mister, your fly is open!" Things like, "Quiet please, this is a library!" Things like, "I'm really very sorry, but I've got laryngitis." To conclude, why am I running this race? It all comes down to one word: stupidity. I came in second in a stupidity contest. I would have come in first, but I was stupid! But I think we need a stupid candidate in this race if this election is to be truly representative of the electorate on whose behalf and for whose benefit it is being waged. After all, stupid people deserve representation too, even if they're too dumb to know it. So on election day, when you pull that lever or switch or thingamajig, or whatever you call it, remember, vote for me, because I'm too dumb to steal. Vote for me, because I don't believe in organized crime, I believe in organized chaos. Now, if I have one final message to share with you, it's this. Message, I don't care. And remember too, politics is sports for people who are too fat to run and too old to fight. And now, my friends, I'd like to thank you. You give good audience. I must mention that I call you my friends even though you aren't. Because my real friends would never have let me talk this long. I'm the wrong hero. Thank you.
And I should let everyone know that Ron Hero has been endorsed by the Libertarian Party. musician and saxophone player.
You're still with us. You have been tuned into the Cabaret of the Oddly Normal, recorded live at AS220, 115 Empire Street, Providence, Rhode Island. I'd like, in the waning minutes of this presentation, to present some Wrong Hero outtakes. These are portions of the Wrong Hero show that, for whatever reason, forgetfulness mostly, were not included in this main set. Now, the point of this is questions that I used to ask about the Bible and God. But first, a little background. I'm something of a pioneer on the religious field. I've been in a Bible for children, and it's called the Bib. And the Old Testament was just one word. No. And the New Testament was also just one word. Because I also invented a Bible and a religion for dogs. My religion for dogs was called Heal. And the Old Testament was just one word. Sit. And the New Testament was also just one word. Good dog. Reading the Bible, I must have, at one time or another, read Deuteronomy. And I used to wonder, was Moses the first stand-up comedian? I think so. I think he was literally thousands of years ahead of his time. All that talk of stone tablets and burning bush and seeing God. Basically, he was doing the drunk humor of the 1970s, thousands of years before anybody could have guessed. Now, some questions about Jesus that I didn't get to ask. Could Jesus turn a water cooler into a wine cooler? Could he turn whitewater rafting into white wine rafting? Could he turn a water closet into a wine cellar? And when Jesus was being crucified, did he pretend he was an airplane? Did he think to himself, take that, Pontius Pilate? Hey, Peter, I can see your house from here. Well, to conclude, I believe that God is in the details. And I wish he'd get out of here, because I've been waiting for 20 minutes, and my kidneys are starting to sing Anchors Away.
Thursday in between Friends and Seinfeld. Please welcome the wrong hero.
Ignore that curtain behind the man. In keeping with the Easter season, I'd like to do an impression. Jesus and the Gadarene swine. This is a genuine crown of thorns. You know, most of the time I can't even stand to wear a hat, so I don't know how I'm going to do this. How are you all? Great? Good? Fine? Swell? Dandy? I like the hat. It's sort of like Woody Guthrie. Very nice. Very nice. It goes well with the turtleneck, too. Now, if you had a guitar, I'll give you on a boxcar out of here. It'd be swell. It'd be great. Bound for glory, you know, we can shoot it right here. Nice scarf. Very, very nice. Festive red jacket, too. That's very nice. I'm totally sincere. I don't have much else to do up here except admire your sartorial sense. Greg, as always, has that fashionable scarf. Greg General, one of our performers for tonight. I want to talk a little bit about religious things, but I promise not to be boring. I hope anyway. You wouldn't believe it, but I'm incredibly nervous. 30 people, and I'm just freaking out here. I don't know, maybe 30 has an eerie significance for me. 30 pieces of silver, and anyway, I always used to ask questions. I'm Catholic, and I used to always ask questions of the priest. Like when I was in second grade, the priest would come to visit. We never saw priests, we only saw nuns most of the time, so this was a real special occasion. And they encouraged us to ask him questions. And the question I asked him led to a 20-minute explanation, which I didn't comprehend. And the question was, if God always was and always will be, then why weren't we born 100 years ago? And he sort of stepped back for a minute there, and he said, so you wanted to be a cowboy, huh? No, that's not the point, Dad! Well, you couldn't answer that. Well, but this failure of his to answer my question sort of led me to obsess on religion. Like, when I was 10 years old on Halloween, most of the kids are dressed up as pirates and hobos and clowns and ballerinas. My costume was the ontological proof of the existence of God, which was kind of an unusual costume. And I have to say, I believe in the Bible's teachings because it's a lot easier than actually having to read the thing, if you know what I mean. Jimmy Cagney begat Edgar G. Robinson. Edward G. Robertson begat Louis dropped the gat, and Louis dropped the gat begat the gat tree, and just kind of get your head swimming. Well, some of the things I used to wonder about is whether there were cars in the afterlife, and if so, whether there were bumper stickers in the afterlife. Now, I was thinking maybe some bumper stickers in heaven would be something along the lines of, my co-pilot is God, or caution, Messiah on board, or honk if you are Jesus, or maybe ask me about my previous lives, how to break for celestial choirs, things like that. Got any hellish music, like theme from The Exorcist? Because bumper stickers in hell, there's a whole other story right there. Like bumper stickers in hell. Ask me about my eternal torment. Well, I'll tell you. You spend 10 years studying, sudden. Somebody asks a question like that, and you lose your train. Never fear. Bumper stickers in hell. Question, things like, my other car is a pitchfork. Welcome to sunny hell, sin playground. If you don't like how I drive, kiss my nether regions. Caution, Rosemary's Baby on board. What the here are you looking at? Don't blame me. I voted for McGovern. I break for Beelzebub. And of course the ever popular, honk if you've betrayed our Lord. Well, reading the Bible, I had a lot of questions. Questions about the Old Testament. On the seventh day, God rested. What did he do on the eighth day? Bowl? Open up an 8-pack, you know? Noah. What if when he was on the ark, Noah had gotten drunk and said,
Hey, fuck it! Throw the animals overboard! Bring the fish up here!
where would we be? You know, he got crushed by a whale, and that would be the end of it. Of course, technically speaking, a whale is actually a mammal, I know. If you get the word Yahweh and you use it in Scrabble, do you get the extra 50 points? Is it true that you can't love God unless God loves himself? If God is all-powerful, then why doesn't the alphabet begin with the letter G? Is there a special God whistle only G can hear? That was it. And the New Testament. Yeah, I had far more questions about the New Testament. Can you kill the Holy Ghost? Or is it already too late? When Mary was pregnant with Jesus, did she drink coffee? If Joseph was a carpenter, why couldn't he make a nice cradle for the baby Jesus? When Jesus was a kid, did he collect coins? And if so, did he give away his coin collection? When he took a shower, did he walk up the nozzle while the shower was running? Did he leave his face on all the towels? At the wedding of Cana, when he changed all that water into wine, wasn't that enabling behavior? Is any of that wine still around? Is it any good? At the Last Supper, you know, he said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's. Well, at the Last Supper, did he order the Caesar salad? And did he order the all-you-can-eat loaves and fishes buffet, or would that have been redundant? And in the Last Supper, did he try to save money by ordering one dish and multiplying it by 12? And when the waiter's back was turned, did he change all the water into wine, you know, sneaky? And if they had Last Supper action figures, would it be Jesus and the 11 apostles, Judas sold separately? If Jesus' blood was wine, does that mean he was always drunk? Driving that ox cart, you got a BAC of 100, you know? When he was making that long march to Golgotha, was he tempted to use the crown of thorns as a frisbee? If the good thief was such a good thief, then why didn't he steal away with Jesus? When he was being crucified, was his gym coach there from high school saying, "Come on, you sissy, walk it off, that wound ain't so bad." crucifixion just a dice game that went terribly, terribly wrong? Did the angel really roll the stone away, or was it juvenile delinquents? Excuse me. And when Jesus went to heaven, who got custody of the halo? Now, nowadays, Christianity, world religions in general, they are a source of division and tribalism. And, well, I often wonder when I see all these televangelists begging for money so that they can glorify the Lord and fight Satan. Well, where's the equal time for the devil worshippers that ask for money for Satan so they can fight God? And if indeed we are to have a moment of prayer in public schools, and shouldn't we have a moment of noise in private Bible schools? You know, it's my personal belief that God is not dead. He just doesn't like crowds. And that's why you seldom find him in a church. Now, if Jesus were to come back today, I'd be totally in awe and all that stuff, but I think he'd like me. Because, you know, I wouldn't be bashful or anything. I'd just walk right up to him and I'd say, Lord, and I'd look into those big, blue, omniscient eyes of his, and I'd say, Lord, can I pick the fleas out of your beard? Well, I'm the wrong hero, and I have some qualms about doing this because tomorrow is such a holy day for Catholics and Christians in general, and I wrestled with my conscience, but I won. I cheated, and I don't care. I'm the wrong hero. Thank you very much.
Hey, Tex, you left this in my boudoir. Betcha. While we're setting up for the next act.
Well, this is the wrong hero, and I guess we still got a little bit of time left before we wrap this up. Seinfeld. You ever notice how Seinfeld makes fun of foreigners and immigrants and you know, just mercilessly mocks them and stuff? And like, you know, that really upsets me because, you know, that's my job. Days of Our Lives. It's like, could you think of a more boring name for a soap opera? How's about Thursday? You know, something like that. Wouldn't that be, oh, here we go. This is a good segment on Lisa. Service worker pet peeves. This ought to be a hot one, eh? I would turn the sound all the way down, but if I do that, then I'll forget to turn it back up, and then when my girlfriend's soap opera tapes, none of the sound will be there. And so it'll be like, you know, all the histrionics, but no actual verbal component, and the story will be even less comprehensible than usual. So anyway, this was the, I'll tell you what, why don't I just turn this annoying thing off here. This was live at AS220 Volume 4. I like to refer to it as Hate. So the official title of this presentation was, in fact, The Wrong Hero, Hate, live at AS220 Volume 4. And, you know, I've been doing shows at AS220 since 1990. This represents the cream of my output from May of 1995 to roughly April of 1996. So basically it's a full year's worth of performances at AS220. It's a pity that it started in the middle of the year, but in about 3 years or so, you know, each anthology of AS220 sets will correspond to a specific year, and that will save me the trouble of coming up with new titles for the show. You notice my, in the last bit that was tape recorded, you'll notice my sort of hesitant, stammering Woody Allen approach to comedy. I think I'll regale you with the names of some of the names that I was thinking of referring to this show to, but you know, alternate titles, so to speak. Whoa, what's going on here? Oh, Okay, well, let me get a wider angle here. How's that? There. Now I don't have to shout to be heard. Some of the other names I was thinking of, well, let's see, heresy, whines and groans, terminal velocity, cramping God's style. I was very close to calling it that. Schism, kicking name and taking ass, credit cards now welcome, more product, empty disclosure. These are all alternate titles for this presentation. Dysfunctionality, stock design, not from concentrate, tough love liberalism, fartling, which is a favorite word of Florence King's, sore winner, and yet, I will use that one someday, void where prohibited, intelligent phrase filter, which is a computer thing, and I like to be sort of on the cutting edge of this technology. Try and start me. Do you know? Now here's one I really came close to calling. Mother cluckin' good, but I didn't go with that one. Same program, both sides, which would have been nice, except it doesn't really make any sense. Not that anything I say really makes all that much sense. Interesting excuses was another. Personal worst. Epsilon Centauri, except that's not really funny, is it? Goonie Bears. Parental violence. No, I'm sorry, parental guidance. Filthy religion. Secrets of the lonely. Some of these titles make no sense at all. Exhilaration, the limbic system, stuff like that. Say. A new word record, notable exceptions, snarling blue giant, ineffectual memoirs, attitude, life-sized, patronize me, excuse me please, erective affinities, a conditioned response, I hate fiction, fond de siècle, Kafka makes three, margin of terror, that's my name, don't wear it out, a moral compass, drowning in milky niceness, decay, that's definitely one for a future show, alternative lies, sourball, life itself, preaching to the subverted, no, the cartoon Necromicron, that is another upcoming project, a bone in the throat, declaration of arrogance, untouched by human hands, 501 things I hate, ask me if I care, Mr. Sample Name, the giggle test, mad about everything, there is only one wrong hero, drunk with the dawn, not greedy, just selfish, angst for the memories, that's another really good one, angst for the memories, get it? Chain joking, stars and swipes, unfathomable crassness, tragically clueless, the male itch, for the main and simple reason, accidental strongman, basic order, a cycle of shenanigans, some room for gutter language, fair sex, complicated propaganda. That's one of the oxymoron series of wrong hero titles. And in the waning moments, I'll just read a few more off. Hoaxman, world famous obscurity, signed anonymous, what you said, funny things kids never said. Let's see. Ha ha ha. Christian comedian. Three gods in one. A persecuted majority. A bright fool. Definite death. Supernatural dog. Alien etiquette. Oh, and I already used that one. Cynical idealism, and of course the follow-up, more cynical idealism. Madman strategy. See-spot die. Vinegar sponges, cartoon fools, misshapen identity, kill the empire, unauthorized, a loathe-hate relationship, dare to be mediocre, a hardness that goes into insanity, not sold in stores, gentlemen, rarities, ruin, la haine, which means hate, the alternate title of this presentation. Here are the news and life as we know it. And I guess this is about all the time I've got, so I'll just show you the title real quick. And it's, of course, Hate, and it's the best of The Wrong Hero, live at AS220 Volume 4. And you are tuned to Noise Party. No, actually, you're tuned to Cafe Cabaret. And tune in next week for more of The Wrong Hero. And I'd like to thank you very much. If I had the time, I'd show the Cafe Cabaret logo at the end of this presentation, but it doesn't really seem to be that necessary. So I'm not going to really bother doing it. Also, it's like 10:30, and I got to get up to Cambridge from Providence, and I got to be at work at 1, and it's not going to leave me very much time because I still got a bunch of other stuff that I got to get done, so I'll just barely make it.